Hi everyone, many apologies for the informal nature of this. However, I know that there were lots of questions. We've typed it up into a handy frequently asked questions sheet for you, but it's quite a lot to read. So I'm just going to go through them and say it all verbally, just to make it easier for some of you, if that's okay. So please bear with me. If you don't want to watch this is okay. There's nothing in this video that's not going to be in the sheet, so you might prefer just to read it. Here goes. Here are the questions that you sent in. Can we send in a school bag? Yes, but only if you really need one for specific items. The children won't need pencil cases and would really like to limit what comes into school. Can you send in a packed lunch? Yes, of course you can. The option is to purchase a school meal if you wish to, or if you're entitled to free school meals, then you'll get your free school meal. But as we said in the previous way, it'll be a hot or a cold grab bag, whichever your child chooses. But yeah, send in a packed lunch as you would normally do, if that's what you would like to do. Can you order milk? Yes, of course you can, just the same as before. And if there's any problems with IP impact, then our office team will sort you out for that, okay? Is a breakfast club? Fortunately not at the moment. Soon. There's also no after school clubs and there's no school lets at the moment either. When can you send in your child's medication? Well, anytime between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock on Tuesday. Just come to the school office, but adhere to all the restrictions that will be in place. We'll keep you right up there. Where can we park our scooters? In primary 1 and 2 in the bike shelter beside the wooden train. Primary 2, 3 and 3 on the concrete in front of the green loose park shed. P4 and 5 beside the buddy bench between fire points number 13 and 18. And P6 and 7 in the bike shelter beside the garden. Now, there's not shelters for all of these points, we know that, so if it's raining you might want to rethink that on rainy days. All of this information is all typed up, so please don't worry about trying to remember it all. Where do we line up? Well, the sway had to be changed, so there's a new little grid in the document which you'll be able to read and see. I'll not read it all out, but have a little look at the table and that will show you where you practice. What about if my child goes to BOSS or first class childcare? Where do they meet? Well, as before, pick up and drop off will just be the same as it was before with both provisions, but all adults have been asked to wear face coverings if in the playground, just because it might be really crowded, and obviously be really mindful about social distancing. So BOSS and first class will continue with their own existing arrangements that they had in place prior to lockdown. What about bottlenecks and overcrowding appearing outside the school grounds? Well, obviously that is a big concern for us and obviously for some of you. We would just ask that you have to really use a bit of common sense around this. I'm sorry to say, you have to be mindful of the guidance that you've been following for the last few months and work around the timings. We're not going to be strict about saying, you know, you have to be banging your line for 9 o'clock. Obviously, we can allow a bit of flexibility, but we do realise that this will be a problem and we'll have to just see how that goes. We have to take care of the kids inside the school grounds and that has to be our priority. So we would really hope for your partnership managing the outside of the grounds at these times. What if my child is really worried and really stressed? Just try and show them there's nothing to worry about. Even if you're worried and stressed, try and not show that to them. We know that you'll know that, but obviously conversations about your worries are better being held away from your child. We're hoping to put out some documents around ways to help your child settle back into school, and obviously our staff will be helping you with that too. If you have concerns, then please contact us and we'll have those conversations away from the children and then speak with the children about how we address them. What if will there be homework sent home? No, not initially. There will be nothing coming home unless it is absolutely vital. Reading books in some classes might come home, but there will be guidance around a 72-hour quarantine that these might need. So please don't worry, if something comes home, there'll be guidance that'll come home with it too. My child has allergies and needs a special menu. When will this be arranged? Well, if you call the school office or email in, and a time will be arranged to discuss this with Shirley Kent, who is in charge of our kitchen. And please remember, we're a nut-free school. If I have more than one child and they're in different parts of the school, can I move between zones? Yes, you can. We just want to make things as easy as possible, and so please try and limit this, but obviously if you need to move between zones, then that's acceptable, and no one's going to come and chase you for it. Also, can your child move between zones at the start or at the end of the day to meet their siblings? Yes, they can, but again, please just be mindful, we're trying to limit the amount of movement, but yes, they will be allowed to do that. What's the story with indoor-outdoor shoes? That's always a question, isn't it? We really try to encourage indoor shoes just because, a lot of mess comes in from outside and it's not pleasant for children sitting around if there's the mess being dragged in from outside, especially in our Scottish climate when it could be wet and muddy. So yeah, you should have indoor and outdoor shoes. However, if your child really struggles with changing into indoor shoes and they haven't mastered that skill yet, then we will accept their outdoor shoes coming in to begin with, because we're going to be limited how much close support we'll be able to give the children with changing. So just be mindful of that. Can my child be a home dinner? Yes, of course they can. It'll be the same arrangements as before. The children will come up to the school office and wait to be collected, but you won't be allowed into the building to wait for them and gather in the school office. You'll be asked just to wait out on the bridge. So that's something you might want to think about again for days where the weather might be very changeable. What if my child gets ill at school or someone else in school is showing symptoms or signs of COVID-19? Well, we're going to send out guidance around that just to make that really clear. But I'm sure you know all of these things because you'll have been paying attention to the news and the public health advice that comes out all the time. But it is vital that you keep your up-to-date contact information with us, because we do need that more than ever. So please ensure that we have got your most up-to-date phone number, and if you are changing your phone numbers, then please make sure we have this as soon as possible. And we'll send out guidance as to when to keep your child at home. How about access to lost property? Well, there won't be any access to lost property. So please just make sure your child knows what they've brought into school and knows that that's what they have to bring home every day, their coat and their water bottle and their packed lunch bag. That should be it. Their snack. That won't be coming home. Hopefully they'll have eaten that at break time. Are you teaching a full curriculum? Well, no, you'll have seen a letter from Carrie Lindsay that at the moment PE will be taught outside and there won't be singing, music, drama in the normal way that would happen, just to do with the way that the COVID can be transmitted. So be very careful around all of these things and we'll follow 5 council guidance. And will there be a fire drill practice? Well, yeah, fire takes priority over COVID-19. If we were to think if the fire alarm was to go off and it was unplanned for, then we would have to follow a normal fire drill procedure. Whilst practicing for that, however, we will do that slightly differently just to make sure that we're not putting our children on unnecessary risk. So we will practice a fire drill and we'll do that very sensibly and very carefully within the guidelines. But should the fire alarm go off, then we would have to follow the fire guideline procedures. We know that there might be lots of other questions. We'll answer these as we go along. These are all the ones that we've got to date. But bear in mind, these guidelines change regularly, and the latest ones we only got there on Monday, passed on the 3rd whilst we're on holiday. So we've worked really hard to try and pull all of this together in the meantime. And even now, other emails appear telling us different things and more questions appear. So we'll work through it. Thank you so much for being patient with us, and thank you for understanding, because it's really, that word's been used so often recently, unprecedented times. times, which they really are. And we're trying to navigate this for over 720 children and staff members, and we have to take cognizance of how everybody's feeling around all of this. So we are, please be reassured, we are doing our absolute utmost to try and get this right. We'll update you as changes happen, and we'll try and make sure that everything goes out in a timely fashion. Please make sure you download the app to your phone, because that's the way that most information comes out. It's free to use for you, and it means that all the information can be uploaded to there, because we know that Facebook is not the best place for all of this. And please remember, you don't need to remember all of this for Wednesday. We're here full time now, so you know, we don't need to remember everything for the first day back. We'll adapt and change as we go and support everybody. Okay, take care, and we're really looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday.